Welcome to Heath Riles BBQ. Today on Shooting the Q, we're going to be knocking out Heritage Farms Porkbelly burnt ends. To top it off, I'm going to be cooking it with a bourbon brown sugar glaze. I've got the pork belly removed from the packaging. I've got it wiped off. Now this is a skin off pork belly. It comes from Heritage Farms in North Carolina. Their breed of hogs is a Cheshire hog that is absolutely phenomenal. I've won a lot of money cooking their pork. I love the way that just the feel of it, the touch of it, it melts like butter in your mouth. It doesn't get any better. That's why I cook Cheshire Farms. I'm gonna start by going ahead and get my pork belly cubed up. I'm gonna go about 1.5 inch squares. So the first thing I wanna do is go ahead and start cutting it down. And look at that beautiful marbling and all that pork right there. That's what we're looking for. So I want to come back and just keep cutting all the way across. Now that I've got my pork belly cut into strips here, and see I missed a piece here cutting it. So once I've got it cut into strips here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna scoot some over and I'm gonna start cubing them up. So you wanna go with about 1.5 inches. It don't matter if you go a little bit bigger, but you wanna get them all cubed up, and I'm gonna go ahead and put them in a disposable pan here to get them tossed around in my rub. Now that I've got my pork belly burnt ends cubed up here, and you can see they're nice, marbled up, that fat's gonna render down here. That's what you call good fat. Now the first thing I wanna do when I get them spread out in my pan here, I'm gonna take some olive oil, put in my pan, toss them around to get each one of them coated so the rub will stick to them really good. And you just wanna toss them around, make sure you don't throw none of the goodness out of the pan. Now, I'm going to spread them back out. I'm going to go ahead and start using my honey chipotle rub. Now, you just want to coat this really well, toss it around, coat it around, and I'm going to keep doing that till we get each one of them all the way around, layered with goodness. And you can see they're almost good and coated here, but I'm gonna keep adding the rub. Now, once I've got my pork belly coated really good, I'm gonna go ahead, and it's just got a good light coat all the way around it here. I'm gonna go ahead, set it to the side, and I'm gonna get it on some cooling racks. Now I've got 2 cooling racks on my cutting board because this is such a big pork belly and I'm cooking so much of it. So I want to go ahead and I'm going to start putting mine fat side up. Now you just want to layer them on your cooking rack here. And you just want to get them laid out on it so they got a little bit of space around them. Now I'm going fat side up so that fat doesn't stick to the bottom of the rack sometimes. I'm just going to get them laid out here. We get them all on the 2 racks. All right, once we've got our burnt ends on a rack here, I'm gonna go ahead and get them on the Traeger Timberline 1300. I'm cooking at 275 degrees with cherry pellets. All right, our pork belly burnt ends have been on about 2.5 hours at 275 degrees, maybe close to 3 hours now. We're gonna go ahead and probe them and see if they're ready to be pulled and glazed up. Oh, they are looking phenomenal here. So what I'm looking for is just probe tender, and that's going in like butter. It's hitting 205, 206, 207 degrees. So I know that pork belly is done, no problem. That's hitting 210. So I know this pork belly is done. So what I wanna do is get it pulled up, panned up, glazed up, and to go back on the smoker to tack up. Now that we've got our pork belly burn ends off the grill here and I've got them panned up, I want to go ahead and I've made up a glaze here. And it's got 2 cups of my sweet barbecue sauce, a half a stick of butter, a half a cup of brown sugar, and 3 tablespoons of Blue Note Bourbon that we use. They're a local bourbon company here in Memphis, Tennessee. That's absolutely phenomenal. Now, once I get this, go ahead and get it in here, I'm going to toss everything around. And now the reason I only use 2 cups of barbecue sauce and the other ingredients, because this is just about perfect for this 8-pound pork belly here. And you see it don't leave a lot of excess sauce in the bottom of my pan here. Now I'm going to go ahead. I've got everything coated really well. Now I'm going to go ahead and get this back on my grill to let it set the glaze for about 30 minutes, and then we're going to be done and ready to eat. All right, our pork belly has been back on with the glaze on it for about 30 minutes. We're ready to get in here, get them off, get them plated up, let them cool, and see what they taste like. All right, our pork belly burn ends are off the grill. They've had time to cool down. We got them plated up here. And just to recap, I want to go over our recipe. We took a whole 8.5 pound Heritage Farms Cheshire pork belly, cubed it up in 1.5 inch squares, put it on the Traeger grill at 275 degrees, smoked it for about 2.5 hours till it was probe tender. We then pulled it off, made a homemade bourbon glaze out of my sweet barbecue sauce, some Blue Note Bourbon made right here in Memphis, Tennessee, and some brown sugar and butter. We tossed it in it, returned it to the grill for about 30 minutes, let the sauce tack up, and these things are phenomenal. They look great, and I know they're gonna taste great. Now, all we gotta do is go in here for a taste. So let's go ahead and get us one, pick us one out. The richness from the pork shines through. The Blue Note Bourbon is coming through in the sauce. The honey chipotle has a little bit of sweet bite to it. These turned out phenomenal. If you like what we're doing on our channel, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that follow button, share it with your friends. We're gonna keep putting out weekly recipes and videos, and I appreciate you for tuning in and watching.